3, 2, 1.
¿Qué pasa, campeones? Welcome to the Churros y Tácticas podcast. It is January the 30th, and we, Kian and myself, are here for our loyal listeners to break down the action of Matchday 18 in La Liga Santander. Kian, we're almost at the halfway point. That will happen on Wednesday, and in Madrid's case on Thursday. But Matchday 18 has left us a whole gang of stuff to talk about. You've been talking about it. I'm curious to get your takes on it. I've been watching it. I've been sitting back, eating popcorn, and watched a highly entertaining game take place over in the Bernabeu. However, in the end, Barça being the big victor of the weekend, I should say, as a whole, seeing as we've now opened up a 5-point gap between the second place, Real Madrid. And like I said, what was an entertaining weekend. I enjoyed watching Real Madrid against Real Sociedad a whole lot more, not just for the result, Kian, may I add, than I did watching Girona Barça. But let's get into it, my friend. How are you today?
Great. As I told you, I'm extremely tired today, low energy.
I thought you were going to go opposite and be like, yeah, I'm going great.
I'll get some juice as the podcast goes on. Yeah. Do you believe me now? Style of football doesn't matter. Wins matter.
No.
Can we put that to bed? It's been
No.
settled.
No, absolutely
Barca are winning.
No.
And,
no, I quite frankly,
matters.
I am very worried going into the second half of the season. But we'll get into that, because what I saw from Real Madrid and what I saw and what took place rather a couple of hours ago or a few hours ago, earlier today over in Madrid, where they had the draw for the semifinals of the Copa del Rey, I'm a little, I would you have asked me before the weekend, who do you want to draw in the semis? I would have said Madrid. But after what I saw against Girona as well, and it's sort of a reoccurring pattern with this Barça now, and seeing how Real Madrid played against Real Sociedad, like I said, highly entertaining game. Yeah, I'm not really feeling favorites, like the heavy favorites that I want to feel going into this semi-final. I'm not feeling it, man. I'm not feeling it.
That's interesting. I mean, you would be shocked to see how many Real Madrid fans were upset that we played well yesterday.
What do you mean?
Because we didn't win. They just like,
they're upset with the result.
Win. None of it mattered. None of it counted. None of this new style of football that Ancelotti introduced yesterday against Real Sociedad mattered. None of it mattered. Go back. It doesn't work. Go back and play the defensive football. This is not working. Which I disagree with, by the way, because to me it's about giving yourself the best chance to win. And what we did yesterday was our best chance to win. We just got unlucky, I think. And so I liked our performance. I did not like the result. I also.
So there you go. Performance does matter. You just answered your own question, the one you posed me at the top of the show.
To me, it's about whatever increases your chance of winning.
Of course.
If counter-attacking football gets you the best chance, then do that. If this gets you the best chance. But this, I think, gave us more offensive opportunities. And ironically enough, it did not make us concede more chances. Did we concede chances? Yeah, Real Sociedad could have scored a couple times. But we've also conceded. We've conceded more chances playing defensive football than we did trying to win the ball high up the pitch yesterday. I think part of that had to do with Ancelotti's lineup selection too. We had a younger midfield yesterday, and I think that enabled us to play a different style of football. But yeah.
Well, obviously,
younger
midfield, Camavinga playing in the back, out of position. Although he played there in the World Cup for France as well, out of emergency as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's a surprising thing that's happening that actually has been pretty good. Right now, two of our main stories have been Camavinga and Ceballos. I think the other one was Rodrigo yesterday, who looked great. But Camavinga and Ceballos are right now, in a lot of ways, carrying our ball progression and are super important to the way we play, to the point where I don't think you can drop either of them. I really hope that Camavinga doesn't get dropped when Chouameni comes back and Mendy gets back. I think you have to find a place for him in the starting lineup. He looks great right now. And the fact that he's doing what he did yesterday at left back is another just impressive trait. Now, I think I made this point a few times. I think if you put Camavinga at left back against Barcelona, that's a different story because that's a team that will test him more. Atletico didn't really test him. Real Sociedad didn't. So if you're going to ask him to be a defensive minded, he can defend. Obviously, he's got a great tackle on him, but his positioning worries me a little bit. So I think you'll have bigger tests to come if he continues to play that. And I don't think that's a long-term solution. But yeah, like you said, it's an emergency situation. But yeah, it's funny that the narrative right now is that Barcelona are the ones who are playing poorly and winning, and Real Madrid yesterday played well and didn't win.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's a funny old world. So I want to dispel a few things. Nobody here is celebrating a league title. I think people are very realistic, with the current situation of the squad and what we're seeing as well. So what production we're getting from our team, which, let's be fair as well. We played against a very tough Girona side. Michel, in that sense, is doing a great job with a Girona that, if I'm not mistaken, tied in the Bernabeu. They're, a mid-table team that are now reaching their objective of most likely remaining in the Spanish top flight and, having to fight hard to do so. And they made life very difficult for Barça at home, playing more a defensive style of play that from what we're used to seeing from them, that might have caught Xavi off guard a little bit as well. A Xavi that was full of praises of Michel and Girona. And let's be honest as well, the last game that we still had to play without our and La Liga's top goal scorer, Robert Lewandowski. And on top of that, losing arguably our second best player after, 24 minutes or so, when Dembele had to come off, be subbed off, injured. How long we will see that we are hearing anything from 3 to 5 weeks. And also give entrance to Pedri. A reminder that Pedri was not starting that game neither. It was a good game where the Canarian could have potentially gotten some rest. The point being is that, Barça's or Xavi's A team wasn't necessarily out there neither. And despite all that, I want to obviously commend the team for still walking away with the 3 points. Pedri on his 100th game for Football Club Barcelona, scoring the winning goal. Now, this statistics, we don't need to get into it. I can mention it in passing. It's the highest goal-scoring Pedri that we've seen so far since his arrival. 100 games of Barça, 82 as a starter. His win rate, I believe, was 65 games of those. To at this point state the importance of Pedri, I think, is not necessary, but it's good as well to remind people that this guy is just still 19 years of age, even if that gets old. I never get tired of saying it because the importance of Pedri for club and country. I mean, the guy is he plays like a veteran. It's unbelievable and commendable how he's taken this team on his shoulders and really become just such a leader. That being said, going back to the game, I missed a lot of the rhythm of the game, Kian. The rhythm of the game and the rhythm of games is what concerns me most when I watch this Barça. We talked about, how well they played against Madrid in the final in the Super Cup. And we talked about as well how the one thing that we don't want to see, I'm including you in this conversation, Kian, is we don't want to see a drop-off of intensity, and whether it be through generating chances or just basically playing in the opponent's half. I don't necessarily want to knock the pressing. I thought the pressing overall was still generally good, and by that I mean the ball recuperation, the players, really chasing the balls down, making sure that Girona had the ball the least amount possible. But then it was kind of like once we did have the ball, it sort of fell flat. It started off okay, I think, in the first half, and then in the second half, it completely disappeared. And at that point in time, the last 10 minutes or so, and maybe I'm exaggerating 10 minutes, but it felt like 10 minutes. Fuck, it felt like 15 minutes where you're actually watching Barça in a low block, giving up, possession to Girona and allowing one after the other dangerous cross being put into the box. And I was thinking, look, we're going to get out of here with a draw. We're going to lose the 3 points. What a chance. But, that's, and so that is the sensation that at least I was left with after the referee, thank God, blew the whistle and we did walk away with a win. But it was like, whew, it was like, damn, another close one. And there have been some. So that being said, the numbers are still there. From a numbers perspective, Xavi's doing an amazing job. And since the restart after the World Cup, Barça are still undefeated. I think it's 7 wins, 2 draws now. But these narrow draws against the Getafes and Gironas, as difficult as those games are for any manager, for any team to win, I guess what concerns me is the against the Madrid in the final in the Super Cup, we see this intensity there and there's plentiful chances created. Yesterday, we didn't see that. And I'll finish on this, Kian. What I wanted to kind of shoehorn in here as well was the conversation that we had after the Super Cup to say, let's see if Barça are able to sustain this level of intensity and this style of play, or if we're going to see another repeat what happened last season where it just sort of drops off, fades away, in which case, we'd be left empty-handed again this season. And that's not the progression that we want to see from this team.
I think the key for you guys is to not play Real Madrid until the last day of the season. That's your best bet from now on, because after you guys beat Real Madrid, everything falls apart.
It just falls apart.
But the thing is, you have to admit though, despite you guys not playing well after the Real Madrid game, the important thing is you guys are getting results. I mean, and that's, if you're going to suffer a dip, you might as well win while doing it and buy yourself some time to get it figured out again. Because you're not costing. The only one dip in the last couple months has been the Espanyol draw. In terms of results. Yeah. And that one, guys actually played well in. And I had a little bit of bad luck. The last 2 games, 2 games in a row now, Barca have generated under 1 XG. That's pretty rare from you guys. But I would say the Atletico game was another one where I think you guys didn't play necessarily well, and apart from that first 20 minutes or so, that was obviously before Clásico. The Betis Super Cup semifinal, that wasn't a fantastic performance. Ansu with a brilliant goal to get you guys over the hump off the bench. I gotta say, watching Real Madrid play yesterday, my biggest question, to tie this into Barcelona and now 3 Clásicos coming up, is this a game where you look at it as a turning point in terms of tactical shift? We had one tactical shift last year. It was against Shakhtar Donetsk in December, where we started to play counter-attacking football and never looked back. This was the one deviation this year in our style of play where we tried something different. Younger midfield, Rodrigo as a 10. Is this a turning point in the way we play, or is it just an anomaly and a slight deviation? Then we go back to Tchouaméni, Kroos, Modric, which is not as fun. If I had to choose, I would much rather play against Barca the way we played against Real Sociedad yesterday than the way we played against Barca when we lost 3-0 in the Super Cup. Because I think, for one, I didn't like the fact that we made Barcelona so comfortable, because what also tends to happen, apart from the tactical shift in that situation, is that the confidence levels, the gap between confidence also spreads in the game between both teams. Right. Because then you get Barca doing their passes, ole, ole, and then Real Madrid just like, oh man, can we get the ball? It's all these psychological things get added to the comfort level needs to decrease for Barcelona. That's one thing that's important to me in these upcoming Clásicos. The other thing is that no longer is Vinicius alone. Rodrigo was fantastic yesterday playing in that 10
I thought he
role.
scored that goal. I jerked because I thought that actually went in. The one he sort of had.
Jerked.
I started jerking off. I did. It was very
This
awkward.
is a very interesting word choice.
It escalated. No, I got a knee jerk. Don't you say
jerk.
that? I got a knee
Yeah,
jerk.
you gotta
I
just
jerked,
add the knee jerk part.
All right, fine. That escalated quick, didn't it, Guillaume?
Oh man, I need that to wake me up.
It got really awkward really quickly there. I had a
continue.
You
did something when Rodrigo nearly scored. Yeah.
No, I just
which
thought
play
that
are you talking about?
He was basically at the top of the box. From he hit the side net basically. I'm not gonna get me to go into this much more than bring up these.
Well, he the bottom line is he looked great, and that specifically in that role where he's neither on the left wing or the right wing, he's roaming around and combining with Benzema in the middle, Vinicius on the left, Fede on the right.
But you don't remember the shot that I'm talking about? At the top of the bar, it was from the left side basically. It hit the side net, like at the top of the corner.
For some reason it's blanking on me right now.
Doesn't matter. It was a great shot. But yeah, I concur. Rodri looked great. Vinicius looked fantastic, dude.
A lot of Real Madrid fans are mad at Vinicius last night for not scoring.
Yeah, obviously.
It's good to have the non-Real Madrid perspective. It's funny because every non-Real Madrid fan I talk to who is smart and I trust, they're so much higher on Real Madrid season than Real Madrid fans. It's a pessimistic outlook. You're like even drawing Barça. It's like, oh well, season's over. It's over.
Didn't say that, but
like we did this at Managing Madrid, we did this collaboration with one of the co-founders of StatsBomb. We did a podcast with him, and he came to the conclusion, like, look, despite what you guys are saying, and we recorded this after the Super Cup loss, like, you guys are better than last season. All this stuff will normalize. You're getting unlucky right now to a lot of, and obviously after the Real Sociedad game, he actually messaged me and was like, well, this is confirmation of what we said. This is just bad luck. You guys are playing well. You mentioned the Vinicius thing. There was a lot of criticism for Vinicius last night. I think there's a lot of room for criticizing Vinicius's overall play this season. I think last night was not one to add to that.
But listen, can you just
unlucky?
Very unlucky. Can you just specify what criticism towards Vinicius is? Because if it's just knobheads, shouting out their frustrations on Twitter through anonymous tweets or anonymous profiles, then we cannot deem that as criticism. I'd like to know if this is people within your team, if there's articles being written, against Vinicius, or because all I saw yesterday was a player that was creating a hell of a lot of chances for himself. The only reason was stopped was to the great work of what's his name, Merino, or Ramiro, excuse me.
Ramiro.
And
had the most saves of his La Liga career in that game last night.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, Vinicius is the kind of player that's able to create something out of nothing, right? And he would be a dream for Xavi. I think Xavi would love to have a winger of that nature, and have Ansu Fati perhaps have that explosiveness in him.
Okay, I think it's a fair point that you bring up. Like, who is it that's criticizing him? Is it the anonymous Twitter people from their mom's basement, or is it people like we actually have a lot of respect for, and they're in the journalism circles and they're writing for us and they're our patrons? And the answer to that question is generally it's the first one.
Right.
I think that what happens is that after a game like that, when emotions are really high and fans are angry, you just kind of hear it more. You hear those loud voices more, those loud voices that don't generally come out. They come out in those moments.
Right.
And the Managing Madrid podcast hears a lot of the general temperature and the tone of the fan base, because the nature of being the biggest Real Madrid podcast in the world is that it's just, you hear it. You hear it from the fans. You hear it a lot, right? And we also don't ignore fans, because we like to engage and we like to build a community, right? But to answer your question, no, it's the former. I don't think last night was one of those games you criticize Vinicius for. I think Ramiro had a really good game. I think Vinicius had some bad luck. It's funny, like Vinicius got really criticized. You remember the one where he nutmegs Ayhan Munoz in the first half, and then he shoots it and it goes just wide.
Yeah.
The takeaway from that, from a lot of the noise you hear, is like, not that, oh, that was an amazing play. It was like, this guy needs to get benched. How did he miss that? You know what I mean? And that's just like, I'm really good about ignoring that stuff. But I think it eventually just builds nonsense, builds so much over the time that you just, sometimes you're like, man, you guys need to just chill out, just relax. It's a bit much. It's a bit much because you assume that these guys are just robots who just go into, and they ignore the fact that there's some things that are just out of your control. Goalkeeper being amazing one play, or the fact that no one scores every shot that they let fly. There's a lot of randomness that comes to football as well. And on another day, maybe Vinicius scores 3 goals, or maybe he scores 2 or 1.
On another day, he has a hat trick. He could have walked away with a hat trick easily. That little chip as well that he tries to pull over Ramiro.
That was a good save.
Look, they were all good saves. And then maybe the one shot that you could criticize him for was perhaps the one he shoots right at Ramiro's leg, where he didn't really have to. I mean, he sort of made like a ice hockey goalkeeper save, but I felt that he could have chose a better angle, perhaps. But it's on another day he walks away scoring 2-3 goals, perhaps. Yesterday he walked away scoring no goals to the delight of all culés, but that definitely took note of that performance. And obviously, knock on wood, hope that come Clásico, once the Clásico rolls around, or I should say the Clásicos, because we're going to be treated to pretty much 30 days where we play a Clásico every 10 days, I guess. So there's the 1st of March, there's 19th of March, so 20 days. And then a couple weeks later, I think it's the 4th or the 5th of April, where we play the second leg of the Copa del Rey semifinal. So 30 days or so, 3 Clásicos. I hope my defense is fully fit. 6 goals in, 18 games conceded. Props to the defense, no doubt about it. Marc-Andre ter Stegen, 14 clean sheets this season. Record-breaking season for the German goalkeeper. Knock on wood, this continues and they all stay healthy. But this is something that I don't know if we're going to be able to keep up come the second half of the season. It's kind of unheard of to concede so little goals in so many games, especially for a team like Barça and the style of football that we play, which is obviously more daring, high up the pitch, offensive minded, etc. Where our defenses sometimes on occasions get caught off guard, or need to run back, or we allow teams to score through set plays, like we saw that almost took place against Girona in the final minutes of the game, where again you're like, why are we sitting back? What is happening here? What is going on in these final minutes of the game, where the ball seems like a hot potato and Barça players don't want to touch it, and they just give it up to the opposition. So anyway, I'm going all over the place, I feel now. Yeah, exactly. So focusing back on Vinicius, I like him. And I thought he played a great game. And if I'm a defender, I'm making sure I'm studying him, and I'm at my best when I have to face him.
I love it. You defend Vinicius from Real Madrid
since
fans,
day one,
and And I'll defend Ansu from the Barca attacks that come in for him.
Deal.
I think both fan bases should just, every time it gets really, really emotional, they should just bring one of us in to the opposing fan base, just like come in like and just calm everyone down. Like, hey guys, here's a non-biased perspective.
Like the
These
savior.
guys, these players you hate, they're actually kind of good. Stop complaining.
Shut up. Shut up. Some of these people on Twitter, man, I tell you. The comment section anywhere, whether it be YouTube or Twitter, it's quite something.
I've never
so much frustration out there.
Come across a comment section where I was like, "Oh, this is so much logic. Wow, this is great."
Yet what draws us
take
to
the next couple hours just to read these beautiful. The only place that happens is patreon.com/churros y tacticas and patreon.com/managing Madrid. Those are the only two places that those people exist.
I can't vouch for managing, but churros for sure.
So how you'd rather do two Clásicos in the semifinal rather than one in the final?
No, well, okay. Would I, from a sheer spectacle point of view, I'm happy we're having more Clásicos. Yeah, here we go. We got our little Superliga now. We got the biggest game of football.
It's better, I think, to have two Clásicos than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I stand on.
What I guess the point I was alluding to or trying to make earlier was that right now, and this might be recency bias, because had you asked me after the final, and I would say, I'll take Madrid over two legs in the final, whatever. But right now in this current form, and when I saw Real Madrid play against Real Sociedad side, listen, that I throw all the praises to. I did so in the Copa del Rey as well, obviously, when we beat them 1-0 at the Camp Nou. But that also
missing a lot of players
here, like that's what I was going to say, Kian. Thank you. Missed a lot of players, but that still played a great game of football. But that Madrid, quite frankly, played very well against. So if we have to face you guys over two legs, first leg in the Bernabeu, then a month later, that's the other thing. I mean, the second leg, the home leg is like good 30 something days later. So a lot changes in a month. But we'll see.
It's not quite a month, I don't think, right?
I thought the first is, so the first leg is the 1st of March and the second leg the 4th or 5th of April.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 4th of April. Yeah. Who knows? This is slight tangent. What a mess. No one knows what day is what. I'm so lucky because I'm going to Anfield, and then I'm going to the Madrid derby from London. So I'm going London to Madrid.
Nice.
Liverpool to Madrid. Ooh. And I was going to fly back home. And thank God I didn't book my return trip, because the Super Cup thing against Barcelona, I might as well just stay like a few days later and go to the Clásico.
Might as well.
But I don't know when the Clásico is going to be. It could be on March 28th. It could be on February 1st. It could be on February 2nd. Good luck planning that. Fuck.
Well, sorry. Now, so but what dates are you talking about? You're talking about the Liga Clásico or the Cup?
Whatever one is. I think the Super Cup first leg.
So the Copa del Rey, you mean?
Sorry, Copa del Rey.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that one is the first confirmed, and then the league one is the 19th. When did it get
confirmed?
See.
When?
Oh, when the draw was made.
No, they don't know. They don't know yet.
Okay, then that's my bad. I thought it was confirmed.
It could be on the 2nd. There's actually potential that it could even be on the 28th of February.
Okay, my bad. I thought the first was confirmed.
No, unless it's as news that you just found out. But
no, not at all. But and all of this is kind of because of the Club World Cup, right? That plays a role in this.
Well, the Club World Cup, is actually happening like next week.
Yeah, but
not even
that's
here or there. That's just another.
no, but that's when the semis were supposed to be played. So it was scheduled for the semis to start next week, Wednesday.
Like next week.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the Club World Cup basically, you know,
Well, the
scratch
other
those
barrier
plans.
is that we play. I mean, just the general league schedule. I mean, aside from that, the other barrier always is just the fact that La Liga and the federation never
Yeah.
knows what's
Yeah.
happening until
That's
like a
for
week
sure.
in advance.
That's for sure. That's for sure. But are you
Because
coming
we
to
got
the?
at. Go ahead.
No, you still planning on coming for the 19th? The 19th of March, that is, sorry.
Okay, so now that we have, because we've never gotten into the Camp Nou before,
Mm-hmm.
nor have we tried.
Yes.
So now that we have two Camp Nou Clásicos coming up, I think my plan is to try to send Ewan to the Camp Nou Clásico, and if he gets in, that means we're in, and I'll just go to the April one instead. Because I don't know if I want to just go to Barcelona, because for Ewan it's easy. He said, like, I'll just go to Barcelona if I can't. I can just book a train ticket. It's cheap, no big deal. I can stay with someone.
What a
So
sacrifice for what an honorable thing to do.
Ewan has literally changed us completely, because he goes to every single game when Lucas and I aren't there in Madrid. And our relationship with the club in the last 2 years because of this has changed completely.
I'm
Ewan is a
sure
blessing.
I'm sure you don't have to twist his arm too hard to go to the Bernabeu or come to the Camp Nou to see a Clásico.
Yeah, he takes the sacrifice. Yeah, can we talk about Barcelona's upcoming schedule?
Okay, absolutely. But the last thing that I drop it. So there's no chance of a churros reunion here outside the Camp Nou in a bar.
No, I actually opposite. I would say you can guarantee it. I just not sure if it'll be March or April. Probably the April
Okay.
second leg Copa del Rey. Yeah.
Okay. That'll be amazing. All right.
Yeah.
Upcoming schedule is brutal.
For both of us, but because we were talking about, like, okay, Real Madrid have that week from hell. They go Liverpool, Atleti, Barça, and then for the return leg against Liverpool, we got Barcelona and Liverpool back to back as well. But you guys, I'm gonna just read this out. Barcelona's next umpteen games: Betis, Sevilla, Villarreal, Manchester United, Cadiz, Manchester United, Almeria, Real Madrid, Valencia Athletic Club, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Real Madrid again, Girona, Getafe, Atleti, Rayo, Betis. Then it kind of eases up, assuming that you guys.
Rayo that took points.
Well, Rayo beats us
everyone.
Rayo's amazing in those
games.
But
like
if you get past Manchester United, there's going to be more in thrown in there. So it's going to be this is when the season really starts right now.
Crunch
for
time.
everybody. This is where it starts. Yeah.
This is where it starts. This is where I'm a little bit more, held backish, a little bit more skeptical about what we're seeing so far in the post Super Cup matches, where I hope we didn't peak too soon. You understand my fear, my concern?
Yeah, we've seen it before. We've seen teams peak too early or start really poorly and then just go to another level.
Correct.
In the springtime. But spring is when people get paid.
Correct.
This is why they make their big bucks. So it'll be really interesting to see the form of both these teams. And hey, maybe we'll see 3 completely different Clásicos. Maybe one team will dominate one and get dominated the other one. There's three is a lot of games. This is like an NBA series. How many times you see it in an NBA series? A team gets blown up by 40 in game 2, then comes out and wins by 20 in game 3.
Yeah.
It's a marathon now.
I think that's what we will see. I think we'll see 3 very different games. Different stakes as well, of course.
Different stakes. just as an aside, one of the reasons why I really, really enjoy like a 7 game NBA series is because I find it fascinating to see the tactical adjustments from game to game.
Mm,
Because when you're playing that as the same team over and over again, you start to learn each other's habits
mm.
and you start to adjust, and then the other team adjusts to your adjustments. And that's what's really interesting to me about facing each other. And if you remember, obviously you remember the 4 Clásicos in 18 days. In 18 days, there was a bit of that.
Oh yeah,
You had the Pepe midfield. That was our high point, winning the Copa final, and then obviously really forgetful memories in the Champions League against you guys. What was the other one? It was just a league game that I don't even remember, right?
it was
What
a
happened in
league.
that one?
What did happen?
Was that the 1-1 at the Bernabeu, I think?
It might have well been, because obviously the Champions
That
League
one was not as consequential
favor.
as the other ones, I think, if I remember correctly.
Well, because Madrid won the league that year.
No, we only won Copa, I think.
No, you only won the Copa.
Yeah, no,
that's 100%
yeah,
correct.
you guys won the league.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, our hope was, okay, let Barca have the league. I mean, let Barca have the league, but then we can steal champions in Copa. That was the hope.
Yeah. And then Messi did what he did.
Let's not bring up that, because that opens a whole can of worms about Pepe's red card and Higuain's disallowed
Let's
goal.
talk about let's talk about the things that we agreed on. We saw one of the best goals in the history of the game being scored by the best player ever.
Pepe would have stopped it. He would have.
I love these hypothetical bullshit. Fine. Yeah, let's ignore the reality, the fact, what actually happened, the beautiful goal that was scored by Messi. Taking it from Busquets, literally a give and go.
Busquets made that goal, let's be honest.
That goal's not happening. That's what he says. When Busquets gets asked about it, he's like, well, if it wasn't for my assist, he would have never... boy. Well, habemos clásico. We wanted it. I wanted it. And we're going to get it. We'll see what we will get once they roll around in about a month from now, 30th of Jan. So March 1st. In the meantime, my friend, we've got Betis and Valencia coming up. Valencia that is in dire trouble with Gattuso. Probably they're hitting rock bottom now. Is that fair? After crashing out in the cup. Had a decent season so far, but seems like doubts are creeping in.
They've been bad for so long. I don't even.
And Betis, of course, that
deep-rooted problems.
I think this could be a tough one for us. At least we'll have Lewandowski back, but Dembo's out. Hopefully, Rafinha and in particular Ansu will step up to the plate. This is their chance to step it up, because I mean, Dembele will be out 3 or 5 weeks for sure. And this will be a tough one. I'm expecting them, Betis that is, to also want revenge in some sort of way from the cup and keep continue their good season. This could be one where you guys cut a few points back, the distance back with us.
I think this league is far from over. 5 points is nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
Do you have time for 2 quick items?
Yeah, sure.
One of them we may have to save for Patreon edition on later, but what's this going on with Barca's registration of players? This is another story. I don't know. Every day I wake up, there's something about Tebas saying Barcelona can't do this.
Trying to make life impossible for Laporta. Passing these new anti-lever laws during Christmas wasn't enough. Apparently, something new was passed now, and making Marcos Alonso's new contract that he just signed also invalid. I'm not sure. I don't know if you read about it. I literally just heard about it in passing. but need to delve in it more to have a proper or more informed opinion about it. I just know that Tebas he's been on a roll, man. He's been on a roll. So yeah, I don't know what he wants, man. Does he want to kill off La Liga in its entirety? I don't know what his shtick is, but
I think his end goal is to get Real Madrid and Barcelona on board with the CVC,
the CVC, yeah. He's putting a squeeze on. That's a
which
very
is a
good
bad
point.
deal.
It's definitely. Have you started that Super Cup or Super League documentary? Not yet, right? Okay.
No, not yet. I'll watch it though. One more question. Did you see? I mean, you've been following this whole thing with LeBron, the foul that wasn't called. You've been
Yes,
following this?
which obviously it was. Yes, I followed.
Did you see the referees put a statement and a tweet out?
No. Oh, admitting that it was a foul, correct?
Yeah, but the tone of it was really strange. It
Okay.
almost felt like sarcastic, but it clearly wasn't sarcastic.
Huh.
And also it made me think like everyone's saying why this was they've been making bad calls in a bunch of games, not just the Lakers games. And they only put out this in response to the Lakers and LeBron, but never to anything else. From what I understand, admittedly I'm a bit behind on basketball stuff. This is the statement. And I also wonder, like, could you imagine if La Liga referees put out stuff like this? They never say
waiting for them to do it.
Like, oh, this was our fault. Yeah, we're waiting.
Yeah.
The tweet says, like everyone else, referees make mistakes. We made one at the end of last night's game, and that is gut-wrenching for us. This play will weigh heavily and cause sleepless nights as we strive to be the best referees we can be.
Oh shit!
It's just a weird tone, and it's from the official account. It was
sarcasm is oozing out of that. You can.
I know, but it's clearly not sarcastic either. Do you know what I mean?
Right. I don't know.
And also, it's only ever in response to LeBron.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
It was just a weird thing, and it made me think like, do it, but do it for everybody.
Yeah,
and also do it for La Liga after every game. All the mistakes you guys make.
100%. So, I mean, while Nacho's out there blocking throw-ins like they are shots on basket, he got confused. He thought he was playing basketball.
Exactly. When like Girona not getting a penalty in that game, or Dembele stamping on, like, these guys. We need to keep these guys accountable, man.
So,
we need to have some explanation.
Who put out the tweet?
The official NBA referee Twitter account and NBA referees official verified account.
Okay. I didn't know that they had like an association or a union or some sort. Okay.
No, it's literally them. Like it's like, yeah, it's them. It's the official NBA referees. Yeah. Very strange.
Strange, but I think it's a step in the right direction in the sense that referees are being held accountable, or even admitting, albeit be with a ironic or sarcastic tone, to their mistakes and striving for perfection, as they put it, and having sleepless nights about it. I don't know. It's yeah, like you said, I would love to see this in La Liga.
Yeah. Any concluding thoughts before we wrap it up here?
Just that I'm not sure which penalty you're talking about against Girona, and the Dembele stomp is cancelled out by the Vinicius stomping against Athletic Club.
I have no response but laughter.
That's for all you fucking haters out there in the YouTube comments and whatnot. Here you go. I gave you your little... You wanted a bone? I gave you a whole leg. Go chow it down.
You just did a jerk. They jerked your comment.
No, and seriously, do you not say jerk? Like, I cannot... A jerk is not this? If I now Google jerk, what am I going to find? Not jerking off.
You'll find the verb and the adjective. You can be a jerk or you can jerk. I've listened. I've lived in Canada for 34 years. I've
I
never heard anyone say I jerked in a different context to the X-rated.
really. You
Yeah.
can't say like this person said something that shocked me so much I jerked.
Yeah, but you say you don't say it like that. You
I
can say knee-jerk reaction, but that's a
knee-jerk
different
reaction.
meaning altogether.
All right, all
Yeah.
right. Well,
Or you can say the car, like
non-natives.
I've heard this. I've heard like if cars are just acting up, you can say the car was a little bit jerky. You can say that.
Okay.
Or beef jerky. That's
Here we
the other
go.
context.
Jerk, a quick, sudden, sharp movement. That's exactly what I was referring to as I was mimicking. So, quien mal piensa mal hace, mi amigo. In Spanish, there's a saying, one who thinks bad does bad. So, whatever made you think first, that's...
All I'm saying is that if you go on NBA and on TNT and you start saying I jerked, Shaq is definitely making fun of you.
When a guy is banging you...
So consider me being the Shaq to your Charles. Just looking out for you.
And you feel his body... That's still up there with one of the best.
If I have a bad day, I'll immediately go and look at that clip. Everything's okay again. It's got to be the funniest segment on TV ever recorded. It's truly hilarious.
It's so good.
And if you guys don't know what we're referring to, just go look up. Probably, I don't know, what would you look up? That's what she said. NBA TNT, something like that. I don't know. You'll find it. It's not too hard. It's hilarious.
Look up Charles
Diego,
Barkley. Charles Barkley, guys banging you. and make sure you look at the links before you click on them. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. It's time to go. I gotta go.
Buddy.
Gotta go be with the kids. All right, man. It was a good chat. We'll chat later on for an exclusive edition of Raw Churros, patreon.com/Churros y Tácticas. Go and do that and subscribe for more content. Thanks, Diego. Good chatting.
Bud. Yeah. Peace.